Golden Setups.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to Golden Setups. I'm your host, Golden Focus, with another next week's setups. Today is June 19th, Juneteenth, and what we're going to do here is we're going to cover through as many of these stocks as possible. I'm going to move fairly quick. We're gonna also do some reviews of last week's as well. So, without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. All right, first starting off, we're going to go into Forex pairs. We're doing USD and the Canadian dollar. All right, let's talk about where we were last week. Last week we were, let's see, that was Friday. This is, I think it was like Friday the 11th. Where are we? Boom, 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 boom. Somewhere around here is where we were. All right. We had a entry here, target here. Looks like we hit that. Right now, let me go ahead and delete these. All right, that's good. God was kind as far as that's concerned, and I'm going to go ahead and delete that as well. And what are we looking like as far as this is concerned? I'm paying attention to this break entry, right? So there's two things I'm looking at. Number one, we could be weak. If we're weak, we're going to be moving down to this target. But however, if we are strong, if we're going to be moving up to the upside, I do see a reason for us to break above this trend line. We break above this trend line, then there's a good chance that we're going to be strong. I'm going to go ahead and put a target strong, somewhere around here will be strong, and I'm going to set that up as our target strong. Okay, target strong. All right, that's what I'm looking for. So let's watch for a break above any of these trend lines for USD Canadian dollar. Let's look at the USD and the Chinese yen. Let's see what we got here. Not really much to report here, to be honest with you. Let me look at the daily real quick. Let me look at a higher time frame. And what am I seeing from the higher time frame? There we go. We still have our target strong and our target two strongs. And so we haven't gotten there just yet, but looks like we're well on our way. Let's look at the Euro USD. We drew a nice little box here. We talked about this box, looking for a breakout of this box. We did get a breakout of this box. I had a target strong if we break out to the upside, and a target weak if we break down to the downside. Looks like we broke up to the upside, and we're on our way up to the target strong. You can see over here, I drew a trend line right here. I'm looking for a break entry. That's going to be my trigger to the upside. Whenever you see these target weaks or target strongs, use your own trade plan to figure out what your trigger is to be able to get into the trade and ride it where it needs to go. Let's go ahead and check out US 30. All right, US 30, look at that. We hit our target from last week. Feels good to see that. As far as like the next setup, as far as US 30 is concerned, I think we have another big target to the upside, which is going to be right up here. All right, which is going to be what is this, 36,561? Feel free to pause the screen and check that out. But that's another huge target. But I'd probably take profit to somewhere around here first. Where is this? 35,039. All right, looking pretty strong here as far as US 30. Let's look at Coinbase. All right, Coinbase looking weak or strong? I got a lot of lines here, but let's go ahead and break this down. Okay, when we last did this, did last week's setups last time, it was the 11th, I believe. So here's Friday. All right, here's Friday right here. We drew our trend line, okay, and this was our entry. This yellow line was our entry. We got that entry, okay, and we dropped all the way down to the target week. We never got to target 2 or target 3. So I'm gonna go ahead and kill this entry here. I'm gonna go ahead and kill this target week here, and I'm also gonna kill these targets as well. Sorry about that. I'm gonna also kill these targets as well, because we did get target 1, but we didn't get 2 and 3. And then we had a target strong. Looks like that we did hit to the upside. How's Coinbase looking? How's Coinbase looking right now? Well, I would say Coinbase is right in the middle, right? So this is the daily. We're looking at Coinbase. Let's just switch down to the hourly real quick, see what Coinbase is doing. And this pattern right here looks very flaggy to me. Looks like we could possibly have one more drop down to the downside, hitting this 49.05, and then maybe we bounce back up. But we're gonna have to wait, watch, and see. It looks pretty weak to me. Look at all these touches here on the hourly. We're having a hard time getting above and closing above 55.81, somewhere around here. And you can see every time we got above here, over here, a lot of selling pressure getting up here. So I'd be careful for calls unless we clear this area and we use 57.45 as support to move up. Let's check out AVGO. All right. So where were we over here? This was Friday. Here we go, June 9th. This is where we were last week. We talked about a target strong. We hit that, and AVGO was on a rocket ever since. Looks like our Fibonacci levels are holding up pretty well. Got some support and resistance levels on top of them. So what is it strong? Is it weak? Right now, I gotta say, looking at it, it looks fairly weak. You know, I think that we can see us at least coming back down to the 618 level, which will put us somewhere around 860.97, maybe even to this trend line. From here, we gotta wait, watch, and see. We can either get a bounce to the upside, or we can break down below that. And if we break down below that, we may be looking at maybe either a possible higher low, or we could see a turn of events. So I'll be paying attention to the trend line here, and also paying attention to this 618 level, which is 860.84 for AVGO. Let's look at Target real quick. Target, all right. Target was really good on Target. Target, I did 164% on Target. Very interesting. On Friday, I had 2 losing trades. Start out the day with a great winning trade, by the way. Sorry, guys. Let me come back up to. Let me add Target. Looks like Target just got deleted. TGT. Looks like Target just got deleted from my list here. Let me add it back in there. All right. And now that I got Target back in here, we can come back and look at Target. Sorry about that, guys. All right, let's look at Target. Yes, so coming back to Target, like I was saying, I had 2 losing trades on Friday. My first trade was great. It was a gap fill on SPX. Then after that, I had 2 other losing trades on, specifically with SPX. And this was all happening live. Then after that, I was like, you know what? I need to figure out what I'm missing. I said, you know what, let me go ahead and switch tickers. We saw an opportunity here at Target. I went ahead and drew my trend line over here on the lower time frame, and I took my play, and this was 164%, and took profits, took the majority of my contract profits right here, right at the, right when we hit this demand zone. That was really, really good. And then after that, Target dropped again. So I felt really happy about that. Is Target strong or weak? Target definitely looks weak in my opinion. And I think that we could possibly be getting a little lower. I am paying attention to this right here. If we break down below that, are we going to eat through this demand zone and head down? That's something worth watching. But last time we were in this area, there was a lot of buy orders, and look where it took us. And so I wouldn't be surprised if we did actually move up before we move back down again. So let's check out Intel. All right, Intel looks just to be channeling. Nothing really special here. Still channeling. All right, still channeling as far as that's concerned. Let's go ahead and move on to we're above the 9, above the 20, and we've been above the 9, above the 20, and above the VWAP pretty consistently. So definitely uptrending, looking strong. All right, let's look at Lockheed and Martin. Definitely right now looking strong, above the 9, above the 20, above the VWAP. We just broke above this trend line. Looks like we're trying to move up. First stop is most likely going to be 459.58. Should we continue to be strong? And then after that, we're looking at, what is this, 461.70. All right, so this is what I'm paying attention to. We'll see if we can break up above and close 459.58 or 459.61. As you can see, these levels are holding up fairly well. Let's check out QCOM. QCOM is right now looking fairly in the middle, I gotta say. It's not really weak or strong, at least momentarily, but I'm watching these trend lines right here. Should we break above this trend line right here, then we're going to be moving up to this fib line 125.46, but we're going to have a few stops along the way, most likely around 124.43. If we break down below, okay, which we've been having a hard time staying below, as you can see here, below this fib point, but if we do break down below, I do see us moving all the way down to 121.41 to begin to start out with. Let's check out Bud Light. All right, is Bud Light looking weak or strong? I gotta say Bud Light is looking fairly strong. We talked about last week that we have a gap that Bud Light could be trying to fill, and we got that gap fill from last week's video. And now here we are, all the way up here. We worked our way all the way up here. And so one thing we're looking at, I got this trend line drawn. If we break up above that trend line, being that we're right now just kind of sitting on this 58.13 as support, if we break above this trend line, I could definitely see us moving closely to around $59. Otherwise, if we're breaking down below, that is going to be an immense sign of weakness for Bud Light, and we could be moving significantly lower. All right, let's go ahead and check out Uber. All right, Uber right now is looking weak or strong. I gotta say this looks weak up here. You look at all these wick rejections, all of them. It's too many wick rejections. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if we did break down and we have a one target right here, which would be 42.58. And if we continue to be weak, we're looking at, what is this? Roughly around 41.96. We got a few trend lines here that I'm looking at. This trend line right here, I'm wondering if we're gonna be so weak that we're gonna drop all the way down to this trend line. So it's just something that I'm paying attention to. I'm not saying what's gonna happen. I don't know what's gonna happen, but it's something that I'm paying attention to. But we got our targets there for Uber. Let's look at Alibaba. Alibaba right now too, I gotta say is looking fairly weak. I mean, we were consistently above the 9 and the 20 and above the VWAP. Right now we are just kind of like hovering below the 9 and the 20 and the VWAP, looking pretty weak. And we got a lot of candle closes down beneath there. We could definitely be bear flagging to the downside. It's something that to pay attention to. We got to watch for a break below this trend line right here. We get that break below that trend line. First stop is going to be 91.56. And then next stop, long term, we got a nice little gap over here. Let's go ahead and document that gap. We got a nice little gap right around here. All right, we got a nice little gap. Could we drop below this trend line and fill this gap? Is that a possibility? That's what the story is starting to look like, but we got to wait, watch, and see. I also got a trend line to the upside here, just in case we do bounce above and we're strong. And if in that case, if we are strong, I'm going to be looking to take it up around 94.35. Let's check out Roku. All right, Roku, I got some levels. I did some levels for Roku. That's what all these lines are for. The red lines are my alpha lines. They're the strong, higher time frame levels, and then my gray levels are my beta lines. They're my lower time frame or closer to lower time frame levels. And so you can see that price has been holding up pretty well with these levels right now. This is based off of last week's video. Again, you know, we had our target week, and then we got target 2 and target 3. Looks like we're well on our way to the target week. We'll see if we can get target 2, target 3, and then maybe we get this gap fill here. We'll see. Let's check out Netflix. All right, looking at Netflix, you know, a lot of these are starting to look really similar. We got a trend line drawn on Netflix right here. We are in a supply zone, daily supply zone here, higher time frame supply zone. Here we go, connecting these wicks really big, and we're right at the trend line. We're right at the trend line. So if we're gonna be weak, you know, I got my target week here starting out at 426.69. If we are gonna continue to drop out of there, I do see a possibility of us filling this 1 day gap. Otherwise, we could bounce and have one big hoorah to this target strong before we drop down again. We gotta wait, watch, and see. Let's look at ExxonMobil. All right, so looking at Exxon, right, you got a lot of lines again. We're gonna go ahead and start off from where we were last week. Here we are, Friday, June 9th, from our last video right here. I put an entry right here, entry stop loss. Here's the entry, and then after that, here's the target week right here. So we got that. It's filled really good. All right, so you guys can go back and check out that video. I'm gonna delete these right here and move right along. All right, and what we're left with is we got 2 trend lines right here on ExxonMobil. If we break down below this one, we're looking at this target week. If we happen to break up above this trend line, we got a target strong. Feel free to pause the video and get those levels. We're gonna move right along. Bitcoin is finally moving up to that trend line that we've been talking about, this trend line that I have drawn here on the daily. And we break up above this trend line, okay, we're going to be looking strong, and that's the target. That's what we're targeting right before we get into this daily supply zone. All right, so 29,838. Could we get that high? We got to wait, watch, and see. But let's see if we can break and close on the daily above this trend line for Bitcoin. Let's look at silver. All right, looking at silver on the daily, silver is still channeling. All right, still channeling. We had this channel drawn a few weeks ago, and we're still in the channel. So feel free to use whatever trigger you want to go ahead and play the channel. Looking at gold. All right, gold right now seems to be wedging in a wedge. We did break out of the wedge, but now we're kind of like back into it. So one thing I have 2 trend lines here drawn. All right, 2 trend lines here. I'm really watching this one on the upside. All we've had consistently is higher low, higher low, higher low, and so this tells me that we may be moving up before we move down. So it's something to pay attention to. I'm watching to see if we can get a break above here. If we can be strong, I'm going to be using these levels. Feel free to pause, and you can, you know, get these levels here. I'm using these levels to be able to take profits on my way up. Let's check out Meta. All right, with Meta, we've been talking about this daily gap from February 22nd, 2022, 222, bunch of 2s. All right, check that out, you know, and we've been just working our way up ever since. All right, ever since good entry point. Hey, let's see if we can get a bull flag on a higher time frame back to the 9, and that'll be an entry point to go ahead and finish up this gap. Let's see if we get it. We do have a few gaps below us. We have one over here and we have one over here, which I haven't documented yet. So let's just keep an eye out for that. All right, as far as our targets are concerned, we did get our target weak and we got our target strong. We got all of them. So that's really good. What am I paying attention and watching for? Again, like I said, I'm going to be looking for a bull flag to the upside. I want a nice retracement back to the 9 here. Let me go ahead and switch back to the hourly here. Okay. I want a nice retracement. Let's get a pullback all the way down, maybe to this purple line, which is the 200-day moving average. And then let's see if we can go ahead and get some strength, some buyers. But again, all we've been seeing is high, just consistently higher lows, higher lows. This one did drop down below, but we've been moving up ever since. Let me extend this trend line over here just so we have something to pay attention to. So hey, maybe we can move all the way down to this trend line, bounce up, and then continue, establish our higher low somewhere around this trend line, and then continue to fill this gap. We're gonna have to wait, watch, and see. Let's check out Microsoft, moving right along. Microsoft, is it weak or is it strong? Right now, I gotta say it's looking temporarily weak. All right, looking temporarily weak at the moment, but I want to see what it's going to do with this trend line. Are we going to break down below this trend line? If so, first stop 339.18. Are we going to bounce back up above this trend line? If so, we may be reaching back up to these highs that we had last week. Let's check out QQQ. All right, QQQ looking very similar. All right, I want to pay attention and watch what we're going to be doing with this trend line. We did break down below this alpha level, strong higher time frame level. So maybe we can even go back up to this level. All right, maybe we can go back up to this level, use that level as resistance, and then move down even lower. But right now, this looks kind of flaggy. So, and we're looking at it on the hourly time frame. So, we break down below this line. Maybe we hit this trend line, and we move back up, or we continue down. But the trend line would be a great place to take profits. Let's check out AMD. Oof, loving AMD. We still got this target. Beautiful. Well, actually, I set this up not too long ago. Here's the target that I'm looking at for AMD. Should we continue to be weak, I'll be looking for a bull flag. A bear flag to the downside. Let's see if we can move back up, maybe hit the 9. That'll be a great place to go ahead and enter, or for a nice little reset, trend reset, to run back down to the to this target. And then nice little story here. Could we be going to fill this one-day gap? We got to wait, watch, and see. AMD was looking scrumptious on Friday. Let's look at NVDA. All right, NVIDIA, same thing. This pattern is starting to look very familiar, right? We've seen this already on just quite a few tickers. Okay, NVIDIA is also looking fairly weak, below the 9, below the 20, below the VWAP. We do have a target weak over here, roughly around 422.90. I'd wait for a break below. Again, we're on the hourly. I'm waiting for a break below this trend line to be able to take that play, and we'll see how that turns out with NVIDIA. Let's look at Apple real quick. Same thing. Apple's looking fairly weak. We're below the 9, below the 20, below the VWAP. Could we be coming back down to this trend line? I think that's a possibility. But if we do drop, I believe our first stop is going to be somewhere around 183.21. Let's see if we get that. Let's check out Amazon. All right, Amazon, man, looks like really what Amazon looks like to me. Amazon looks to be like it's channeling, right? It's channeling to the upside. That's what I see. I see like a bit of a channel, but we still got our target here that we drew from last week, our target high. I think this upcoming week we could possibly hit that. I'm not sure. I don't know for sure, but I believe I don't see that as being outside the realm of the possibilities. But check this out. I just extended this trend line, and you can see we're looking pretty weak, breaking down below the trend line, below the 9, below the 20, below the VWAP, which are these dots over here. And we're looking pretty weak at the moment. So we'll see. I don't know if we're going to be able to get up here, but I'm not sure where the bounce point is. But right now, like where could the next target be for our movement to the downside? Well, first stop is going to be 125.34, and if we're really weak, maybe we come all the way down to the 200-day moving average, find a good bounce point there, since we've been like just hovering above that this whole time. So we'll see if that's the case. Let's check out Google. Google's been an interesting one. It's been an interesting one. Can't really call it. Looks like we're in a channel. But let's look at what we did from last week's next week's setup video. So we were roughly around here. We had a target weak and we had a target strong. So last week, what happened? We opened up on Monday. We dropped down, came back up. We hit this target strong beautifully. came back up, we wedged, and then we dropped all the way down. I believe that was FOMC, and then we hit this target week exactly to the T. So we actually hit both targets. Congrats to all those who made money, and shout out to everybody who's been DMing me and really been appreciative of these videos, because they've been saying that it's been money. So I'm glad. You know, send me some Twizzlers, send me something, man. Send me something, man. But anyhow, I'm gonna go ahead and extend this trend line over here to the upside here, and we are going to see how this turns out next week. You know, are we weak or are we strong? I would say that right now we're looking pretty weak. We're below the 9, below the 20, below the VWAP. So I would say that we're looking pretty weak. But look at what we're doing here with the 200-day moving average. We're having a hard time closing below here. So unless we gap down below here or we have some type of freakish move of violence, I could definitely see us moving down. But for right now, I'm waiting to see what this bounce off of this trend line is going to do, or what we're going to do at this trend line. Maybe we chop, hit the trend line, move back up. We got to wait, watch, and see. But this level right here, my alpha level 124.53, it's been holding up as support and resistance. It's a strong key level. We're using it as resistance right now. So chances are, you know, we're looking pretty weak, at least for the time being. Let's look at Tesla. All right, Tesla looks to be channeling right now, right? Tesla seems to be in a nice little channel right now. So it looks like we're on our way. We hit the bottom. All right, every time we hit the bottom over here. Once we hit the bottom, we kind of wedged it a little bit. We hit the top, came back to the bottom. Here we are, nice little bull flag to the upside. You know, another bull flag. Looks like we're trying to make our way back up to the top of the channel. We got to wait, watch, and see. I would love to see what happens when Tesla breaks out of this channel. We do have a gap below us, and so we'll see. It's a daily gap. We'll see if we can take care of that and fill that. But other than that, let's go ahead and check out SPX. Okay, SPX has a nice little trend line. We also been channeling. We broke out of the channel, but we couldn't stay up here. Not enough oxygen. Had to come back into the channel. Right, you know, is it weak or strong? It's in the middle. It's hard to say, but I want to see what's going to happen once we come back to this trend line. That's what I'm paying attention for. Let's look at ES. All right, is ES looking weak or strong? Well, we just hit this daily demand zone. Let me show you guys. And I know a lot of you guys trade ES. We just hit this daily demand zone. Okay, and you can see what's happening right now, right? We're actually rejecting this demand zone. Supply zone, daily supply zone. We're rejecting the supply zone. Looks like we're headed back down to this trend line over here. Let's go ahead and scale down a little bit. Look at the 6 hour. All right, you can kind of see a little bit more detail here on the 6 hour. You know, breaking down out of there. We're having a hard time trying to move down. Looks like we're trying to be as careful as possible. You know, I want to watch what we're going to do with this trend line. Let's go ahead and scale down to the hourly. I want to watch what we're going to do with this trend line. I think this trend line is going to tell us everything we need to know, whether we're going to continue to be weak or not. But I think at the very minimum, our first stop is going to be 44.39 right here. I'm going to actually set an alert right here. Okay, add an alert. I'm going to go ahead and set an alert right there. We break down below that, then I'm looking at the trend line. All right. And SPY, all right, and you know, ES, SPX, and SPY, they're all, you know, they all work together, they all move together in tandem. But hey, just for giggles, we're gonna go ahead and check that out. And as far as SPY is concerned, I'm looking for a bounce. That same thing with ES. I want to see what's gonna happen coming back down to this trend line. You know, make sure you find your own reasons for your trigger to be able to get into puts or calls. To be able to take any of these plays, okay? By the way, where were we? Let's see, this is June 8th, June 9th. Okay, here's the 10th, okay? And we had this target over here. I'm not sure what this was for, but I'm gonna go ahead and delete that right now. And that is what we have right now for SPY. SPY's at 439 right now. Guys, hopefully this was helpful. Just had to zoom through this. I want to make these videos a little bit shorter. I am looking to start a Discord very soon. For those of you guys who are interested and who's going to get a little bit, you know, we're going to actually go deep into these things and also do some live plays together, more live trading and all this other good stuff. If you're interested, make sure you join this free Telegram channel. Just go to goldensetups.com, click on social, and then click on Telegram, and then you're going to be in. And guys, I really appreciate you taking the time watching this video. You could have been watching any video in the world, but you chose to watch this one. So I appreciate that very much, guys. Trade the setup, trade confident, and don't forget, live life. Take care.
Golden Setups.